Imagine if all our practical human knowledge as a forming a vast and varied landscape encompassing everything from knowing how to cook to how to invest, how to create a car or build systems, to almost anything. To navigate most of this terrain, you'll need a map, whether it takes form of a cookbook or investment manual instructions. Other places though will be so familiar to you that the map or the model becomes unnecessary, as it's within your specific domain of knowledge that you've acquired through practicing skills or developing skills that you've mastered through several years of practice and hard work, and that they fall within something known as your circle of competence. Inside your circle of competence, you can move without much resistance or without much friction, without much thinking, and it comes from a lot of self-confidence. You know what to expect, and you can handle majority of the challenges that life may throw you. However, outside of your circle of competence, you are no different to a fish in the land. If you're a mechanic, you feel at home when you're under a hood of a car. And if there's an engine issue, you feel like nothing because you know exactly what to do and what tools you need to use, exactly how to solve the core problem. But if you're not a mechanic, then the task may become extremely daunting and difficult for you to even do. Knowing where your circle of competence begins and ends is a crucial step to your success. It takes humility to understand that we don't know actually everything, and all of us have areas of ignorance in our lives, and that's okay. We just need to be honest with ourselves about our limits and that we can focus our strengths whilst potentially seeking help with our weaknesses. For example, you can start a business, but you're terrible with numbers. Why not just hire a financial advisor so then you can read up on a subject of financial literacy? You can also receive assistance and guidance from this expert who's been practicing this skill for several decades, and potentially be trained by a mentor or professional. Maybe you'll never be an expert, but you'll understand the fundamentals and principles. That way you won't feel completely disoriented outside of your circle of competence. Hence, it's very important to know when you are outside of your circle of competence. Our egos can lead us to inflate our conception of how big our circle of competence are. As a result, we might venture outside of them with artificial confidence, unaware that we are out of depth, and that this can be actually life-threatening in some circumstances as well. For example, when you're in a managerial position, I realize it's not really so much about understanding the technicalities or having to know every little detail about the system or product or anything, but more so being good at dealing with people and resourcing. You have to know where your strengths are and also the strengths of other people's areas of competence. So when an issue or problem arises, you know who may be most suited for solving as efficiently as possible with a very robust solution. Then you can also identify areas where your team can improve and seek guidance on mentoring in those segments and becoming a very well-rounded and robust, resilient team. An action step is to identify and write which areas are your circle of competence. And if you struggle to think about it, then ask yourself, what do people come to you for? What advice do people go to you for? And that is exactly your area of competence. And I would even say having a mentee, which you can train and identify areas where you need improvement, that you lack, that you don't have any clue on, and that you can do more research on. You can read a book, you can also get a mentor, that you can receive some sort of guidance and gain more additional skills, and that way you have a strong foundation overall. So if you like this video, then like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next part, as this was the part 2 of the mental model series and critical thinking.